When people are trying to heal the people that you're supposed to meet, that's nothing to worry about, right? And so when I understand that, I step outside of that and I say, do it afraid. Because when you do it afraid, you meet the people who need to be met.
There you are.
I don't know what I was messing up. I think I can't press it.
I was like, what is going on?
Let me turn off this light because I may not need it and I can't see you well. Can you still see me?
I see you fine. You look beautiful, queen. I'm loving the
beautiful. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Just trying to get my little stand right.
Okay. You good. You good. I'm loving that green, girl. I'm loving it. That is so your color.
Thank you, Janelle. I appreciate it. I'm trying new colors, and that's been one of them.
Yes.
And so I've really been liking it, and okay, I think I got it now. Yes, I've really been liking it, and just trying new things, stepping into this new season.
Yes, step into it, girl. You're doing it. All right, you guys. So let me give Miss Juliet her proper introduction because this bio is what's up. All right, so Miss Juliet Wise is a trauma-focused licensed clinical social worker, keynote speaker, and the owner of Journey to New Beginnings Counseling Services. She specifically works with women who have a history of sexual trauma and intimacy issues. Her mission is to help women find a pathway of freedom through intimacy after experiencing sexual assault. Let us welcome Miss Juliet. Woo!
Thank you, Janelle. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sis, for agreeing to share a testimony with us. And so let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to share with us one time that you had to step out on faith.
It's funny. I was sitting praying today, and I was like, Lord, give me the words I'm supposed to say. Show me what direction I'm supposed to be in, right? Because I think that I'm learning in this season more about faith. I'm learning, let me say, a renewed understanding of faith. Sorry, my dog's out there barking. But I'm learning a renewed understanding of faith and learning how to embrace it and be intimate in the space of it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I can say that the most recent time that I can identify that I stepped out on faith was when I spoke at the most recent speaking event. I was asked to speak, I was asked to speak for a church for Women's Day. And it made me, I wasn't nervous to speak. I was more nervous when it was labeled a sermon.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And so I became nervous about that because as I evaluate myself as an individual, as a speaker, as a therapist, and as a person, I realized throughout my life, I've allowed other people's expectations, pressures, lives to impact how I view me. And I'm learning how to settle in the space of just who I am. And then I'm afraid sometimes of judgment, wanting people's approval, wanting them to approve. Right. And so all of those things were in my mind, but then I started reading and I had to remember everything that you're saying is about you. And nothing that you're saying is about what God has purposed you to do. God has put you in a position to teach women or to help women, ignite hope in women, and help them to understand that after sexual trauma and abuse, there's hope, there's intimacy, there's freedom, there's love, there's communication, there's all of these things that sometimes we think don't exist. And so I said to myself, all right, Lord, I prayed about it a long time. And I said, okay. I'd already said yes because I'm in the season of yes. And then I wrote out the text. She asked me for a text and I said, what text will I go with? And I went with, I can't give you the exact Bible verse, but not your will, but mine be done, right? And I went with that text because it wasn't my will to be in a position to speak a sermon. That's not what I would have imagined. But God knew different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like in walking on faith, that speaking experience was different than any speaking experiences that I've had in a period, I could say, because there was a different piece and there was a different mission and a different understanding, and it really showed in the just the space, the women.
Right, right, right. And I love that you said that, because it's not your will, it's God's will for it to be done, right? And I love that you were able to hone in on that and realize that you were just the vessel. We are just vessels for God to use. And so as long as you open your mouth, he's going to speak through you, and he's going to speak to the hearts of the people that really need to hear what it is that he's saying through you. Right. And because you are filled with the Holy Spirit and you have the Spirit of God living within you, anything that you say will resonate with the lives that you're supposed to touch and the women that are supposed to hear your message and your sermon, girl. And so I'm sure it was powerful. I'm sure it was
Thank
so
you.
powerful. And I'm excited that you were able to step out on faith and to accomplish that, you know. Yeah, I think that's amazing. And so if anyone's on here now, thank you for everyone that's tuning in, everyone watching. My sis Janelle said it's already good. She's like, speak, sis.
Oh, thank you.
And so for everyone that's on here watching, if they're afraid to step out on faith, what's a word of advice that you would give to them?
The word I would give to them is do it afraid. You know, I think that fear we allow to paralyze us, right? And so as a result of fear, we stand still. But if we realize it's okay to be afraid, give yourself permission to be afraid, but then also give yourself permission to do it afraid. You know, step into it, because the more you do it afraid, the less fear you have. And then when you also understand, when you're walking in purpose, sometimes our fear is self-centered. It's not about the people we're meaning to serve. And that's what I have to remind myself of often, is like, okay, you're afraid. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of what people might think. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of all of these different things that really don't matter in the whole scheme of things. When people are trying to heal the people that you're supposed to meet, that's nothing to worry about, right? And so when I understand that, I step outside of that and I say, do it afraid. Because when you do it afraid, you meet the people who need to be met. And the whole goal of igniting hope and helping women to find freedom after sexual trauma and find that through intimacy, you meet it each time you do it afraid. So that would be my advice to anybody, is do it afraid. Assess yourself when you are being afraid and say, is this about me or is it about the people I'm trying to reach? And if you find that it's about you, give yourself permission to say, that's okay that it's about me, right? But what am I going out here to do? So then you're able to step into it.
Yes, that's so good. Robin Ann said it's so good. She's like, I'm sure that new experience elevated you in a new way. And she's like, fear is usually self-centered. And it's so true. It's like God has not given us that spirit. So anything outside, any spirit of fear is a demonic spirit. It's not of God. And so we have the power and the authority to cast that out and really just step forth and step into what God is calling us to do, and for allowing God to use us at any capacity. Lisa said, is this about me or the people that I'm supposed to meet? Wow. Yes, so true. Because we're called to serve. That's like God literally placed us here and gave us gifts and, you know, gave us talents and skills to utilize that to serve others. Yes, Coach Dion. She said, do it there, but do it anyway. Yes, yes. All right. So Juliet, for everyone watching, if they want to keep in contact with you, they want to know what's like going on with you, let them know how they could continue to follow you and anything that you have coming up.
Well, you can follow me on I Am Juliet Wise on Instagram. You can find me Journey to New Beginnings Counseling on Facebook, and Twitter. I'm sorry, and what is it called? TikTok. I'm still getting with all of the the platforms. But the largest ones you're going to find me on is TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram is going to be where a lot more of my content is right now. I'm growing in the space of building modules and coming to speak in different spaces and really helping women to understand what true intimacy is. I know that oftentimes we don't understand, like people get afraid, I think, sometimes to be in a space of the conversation related to sexual trauma or trauma period, because they think, well, I have to be boxed in to this understanding and area of trauma. That's simply not true, right? Trauma is a disruption. That's what we want to understand. Trauma is a disruption in our lives. So that could be big traumas, it could be small traumas, it could be sex trauma, but it can also be emotional trauma. It could be so many forms of trauma. So yes, I specialize in sex trauma, but I'm a trauma specialist. And so in going into spaces, I know that us as Black women have experienced so much in our lives. And in order for us to excel to that greatest degree, we have to understand the underlying issues that are preventing us from standing in spaces like this with you, Janelle, going into networking spaces, our insecurities that rise up. We don't realize that a lot of those things are associated with the things that we've experienced, right?
Right.
And so what I'm doing right now is building the platform to help women to understand how to get those needs met, not just in the office. I do therapy in the office here in Alabama, and I'm able to see clients in Alabama. I do sex trauma groups on Mondays once a month. Those are for people all over the state, so you can join that. I usually post it as via Zoom. It's $25. You can join those Zooms. You can come to those sex trauma groups. Those are across the states. I don't see clients outside of the state of Alabama right now as therapy clients. I am growing the platform as a coach, but I don't see them outside as a therapist because of many reasons, ethics, different things like that, under the space of therapy without me being licensed in your state. And so, yes, but I speak everywhere, go into every space. Reason I wanted to put in there that trauma is the definition of trauma is because I think people can get lost and afraid of sex trauma and that word being in front of it. But I want you to remember intimacy. I want you to ask yourself, what are you experiencing in the space of intimacy? And I want you to understand that there are levels of intimacy. It's not just sex intimacy. There's emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, mental intimacy, energetic intimacy. There are levels to this intimacy thing. And intimacy is not just in your romantic relationship. Intimacy is in your platonic relationship, your spiritual relationship, your relationship with God. That's the one that has been one of my greatest challenges. And I've gone through the highs and lows throughout life, understanding that intimate relationship with God, because I've gotten often lost in the space of religion and forgot the intimacy with God.
Yes, I love that. That's so good.
Hope that answers.
So good. No, yeah, that's amazing. And I think that's so powerful. I love it. Like, oftentimes people do get lost in religion and not focusing on an intimate relationship with their creator. I think that's so powerful. And also just like, with, I guess like there a lot of people maybe that you find are like nervous about like the stigma of having like sex trauma. So yeah, I love that you said that there's different levels of intimacy. It's not just, you don't have to necessarily have been raped, but there's, different levels of trauma that you may have experienced that are causing certain blocks for you to show up in other areas of your life. And so I think it's so vital. It's so vital what you're doing. I love the work that you're doing. I'm sure like so many women are going to be set free. So do we have like a tentative launch date for the coaching, or what are we looking into? 2024?
We're looking into 2024 for the launch date. We're setting that launch date up. So that's it, right? The season that I'm in these last 90 days of the year are stillness, so that I can have clarity on where I'm going, where I'm supposed to go, and who I'm supposed to reach. Understanding how to reach them in the right way. That's what I'm really learning. Is stillness in saying the message I'm giving often to my clients and I'm giving to you, I also have to give to myself. In saying that I have to stand in a space of stillness so that I can hear the voice of God. It's a beautiful thing, honestly, Janelle, to be back in a space where I feel like I'm hearing it in a different way, And so that's really where I am, is helping myself to become still. So launching, coaching, meditation, all of these things coming in 2024.
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I know it's going to be huge. And I'm just so excited. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Juliet, for your time. Thank you for sharing your wonderful testimony with everyone that's watching now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for everyone that'll watch the replay. I'm just going to tell you guys, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the very next step. I'll see you guys, God willing, next Tuesday for another Testimonies of Faith. Thank you, Juliet.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye guys.
guys.